Hi, this is James Wortman with Pause.com, and I'm here with the stars of the documentary Please Talk to Kids About AIDS, Vineeta and Sevilla Hennessey, along with their father Brian Hennessey, who directed the film, and their mother Radia Daoussi, who is also one of the producers. The film follows Vineeta and Sevilla as they interview the top minds in the HIV/AIDS world at the 2006 International AIDS Conference in Toronto. It's a pleasure to speak with you all here today.
Thanks for having us.
First off, it's a really groundbreaking film, and there's a lot of buzz about it because it breaks a lot of the taboos about talking about this epidemic with young people. How did this documentary really come together?
The International AIDS Conference had invited us, our foundation, the Vineeta Foundation, to do an oral history of AIDS. And quite literally on the first sound check, we had a young woman with the Condom Project who asked the kids as she started to explain, do you know what the word demystify means? And they said no. And then she said, what about destigmatize? They also said no. So she made it a much more accessible answer based on that. And at the end she said, wow, that's the first time I've really talked about these issues honestly, without jargon, without trying to mystify people. So we decided we had a winning formula, and let's keep the kids in it asking those questions. And that's what we did. And we got honest answers, we feel.
Okay, great. And this next question goes to the stars of the film, Vineeta and Sevilla. What is the most surprising thing that each of you learned while you were filming?
Well, the Condom Project.
Mm-hmm.
And the sneezing parts.
Sneezing. Okay, Trutz, do you want to?
Okay.
Do you remember the question? The most surprising thing you learned.
About the drugs, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't know there was drugs that could make you sick. I only knew drugs that can, make you go crazy. Your mind would go psh. But these kind of drugs can actually make you have AIDS. And in the movie, they said drugs that were good. I was like, what drugs? What drugs? And so they told me it was kind of like a medicine that can control the AIDS, so you can live a totally normal life, so you can, protect other people, not just protect yourself, protect other people, so this world can just go upside down.
What I also thought was interesting was the fact that you're both so relaxed, just talking to these experts, and actually I would say that you were more relaxed than they were. Could you tell us a little bit about what it was like to talk to these people, and maybe some of the ones that weren't really that comfortable talking about HIV and AIDS with young people?
It looked like I was relaxed, but I was really not relaxed.
Well, you hit it well.
Yeah.
Do you remember your collarbone being broken?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about, before on the eve of the conference, you actually broke your collarbone. So.
Yeah. I was playing on the monkey bars. My dad just told me how to do this thing. I was gripping on the monkey bars with my feet and not my hands. And then, because my dad had made this pile of rocks, I fell down on that pile. First my elbow, then the rest of my body.
What about this comfort thing, though? I mean, did you sense that other people were comfortable talking to you? You said you were a little nervous, but did you sense they were nervous, or they seemed comfortable as well?
Some of them were comfortable, but the rest of them were just like, why not other adults asking me about this? Why kids? I mean, like, there's... That's what they felt like. That's what I felt like too. Other adults being with them. I was supposed to be the one with the camera and all that. But it was my dad and I was with the adults.
When you're older, you'll do the camera. When they get stabilization better.
And as I said before, this film it's attracted a lot of attention. You guys have been screening it all over the country. And could you describe a little bit the reception that it's gotten so far? And has anyone come out against this film?
Well, it's had a really tremendous reaction so far, and because it's really an eye-opening experience. People start seeing things in a way that they hadn't before, feeling that there is some, safe space to talk about sex and sexuality, and they feel a lot more comfortable to start talking to their own kids about these issues. And sometimes maybe we'll have a question about, do you think it's appropriate to talk about prostitution? And so of course we have to say that where it's not really a piece to condone or reject, or it's really an exposure to what is going on really in the world, to all the realities that are going on in the world.
Okay, and one of the major takeaway messages from the film is that if kids ask honest questions, they get honest answers. Do you think that this is going to open up a lot more discussion between adults and children about AIDS? Because there's really is this taboo that kids shouldn't learn about AIDS until they learn about sex. Well, when is the appropriate time to teach that? It's kind of a subjective thing. Could you talk a little bit about that?
It's a question we get a lot at screenings. At what age should we start talking to kids about, sexuality? And there's really no age. It's really about your own comfort level as an adult. And this is really what it's about. It's about breaking that barrier and make, adults realize that they have to deal with these issues, and don't wait until it's too late, until, actually your kids is going to ask that question and you're not prepared. So you really don't want to be in that situation.
I think more people generally looking at parenting, also death, dying, and grieving, and all sort of these emotive, difficult issues for parents to deal with. What people are tending to say now is when the child starts to ask, they're ready to know, and they also need to know. And probably the worst thing you can do is make any taboos, make this a difficult area, because then, as someone in the audience said today, they're going to learn this maybe with their peers, and that's not always the purest and most useful information. So you do have a responsibility. You shouldn't shirk on this just because it's difficult. I have to say, the movie, we've had tremendous mileage out of it. It was a wonderful project to do as a family, and we're very proud of it, and we're so happy it's making some kind of difference. But I got to tell you, I was also haunted by the fact that, I was in the 80s involved in politics and Congress and everything, and I remember how Reagan dealt with this issue, and how it wasn't just him, it was us as a society. And it really disturbs me to see that, if this disease had been spread, for instance, by sneezing, this would be relegated to some small historical medical journal. It was a very interesting case, but it didn't spread anywhere, because we told everyone right away, don't sneeze on people, don't, cover your mouth, whatever. Because this dealt with issues that we couldn't deal with homosexuality, with sex, with drugs, all these things, the undercurrents that we had never got to. Precisely because of that, this disease had a phenomenal start. It's actually, as you know, quite difficult disease to spread. But it really took societies like ours that, had these taboos and wouldn't talk about things. And to see two kids, in 2005, totally able to talk about it. Why were we as adults unprepared, unready for this? And a lot of people have died because we couldn't talk about this, and that's the sad part.
Thank you. And are there any plans to release this online or on DVD? How can people get a hold of this documentary if they haven't seen it?
Actually, Dal reminded me of the download. There will be a download.
Okay, great.
There will be a download of this this year, but it's readily available now. I mean, anyone who wants it, we get it to them right away from the website, which is www.vineeta.org. If they send us their address, we'll send them a DVD right away. We want this to be spread like a virus.
And finally, what's on the horizon for all of you? You mentioned right following the screening that you were going to be at the Mexico City conference. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we've been invited again by the International AIDS Conference that will take place in Mexico City in 2008 in August, and we are going to screen the film there. And as you may know, it's the largest conference that takes place in the world with 25,000 delegates. So we're happy that it'll be a great opportunity to reach also people who work in the field, because the delegates come from all over the world. So we hope to also give them access to the film, and then they can take it back to Africa, to Asia, to Latin America.
And of course, are you thinking sequel this year?
Yes, we are. 2 years later.
Great. All right. Once again, thank you all for taking the time to talk to us today, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.